So we're going to be writing equations in slope-intercept form. So we've already learned how to graph equations from slope-intercept form. So now we're going to be looking at either graphs or points and then writing an equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. So some information that you need to know. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We need to know two pieces of information in order to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So that would be the m and the b, the y-intercept. So we need to know the slope and the y-intercept. So if we're writing equations of lines, we're going to find the slope of the line. So there's two ways to find slope. We have rise over run, if that's from a graph. And if it's from points, we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, those are things that we already learned. So what we're going to do is once we find the slope, you're going to substitute the slope and a point on the line into the equation y equals mx plus b. Then we are going to solve for b. Once we solve for b, we will have m and b. So then we will substitute in m and b into our equation, and then that's it. We keep our x and y as x and y at the end. Okay? So we have to also remember our special cases. So some special cases include our horizontal line, which m equals 0. It's written in the form of y equals b, or y equals the y value, or the y-intercept. And m, if our m is undefined, that's going to be a vertical line, where it's going to be x equals a number, which is your x-intercept, or whatever value x is. Okay? So, if they give you the m and the b, we're going to write our equation in the form of y equals mx plus b. So I'm just going to substitute in my m and b. So I'm going to keep my y. My m is negative 2. I'm going to keep my x. And I'm going to add my b, which is 0. Would I add 0 to an equation? No. So I'm just going to write this as y equals negative 2x. And that is my equation. Okay, so for the next one, I'm using my same equation, y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute in m, which is 1/4, and substitute in b, which is 1/2. And we're going to keep our x and our y. So that's how you would write an equation if they give you the m and the b. However, they're not going to be that nice. They're going to require you to find them. So that's what we're going to do next. So if they give you the m and a point, we are going to have to find the b. So we're going to take our equation y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute in my m and my point into my equation and solve for b. So y is going to be negative 3. M is going to be negative 2. X is going to be 6. And I don't know b, so that's what I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to multiply negative 2 times 6 and get negative 12. Add 12 to both sides. Negative 3 plus 12 is 9. So b equals 9. So now I have my m and my b. So I can write my equation. Y equals m, negative 2, x plus b, which is 9. We always write it in the form of y equals, and we always have a y and an x, because this is the equation for the whole line. This point is just on the line. So that's why we don't substitute back in the x and the y. Okay? So let's try this again. So my equation is y equals mx plus b. So I don't have a b, so I need to substitute the information that I do know so I can find b. So my 4 is y. My m is 1/2. That's going to be times 3 plus b. So 4 equals 3/2 plus b. So I need to get rid of my fraction. So how do I get rid of a fraction? By the LCD, right? Least common denominator. So what would be my least common denominator? 2. So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. My 2's eliminate there, leaving me 3, and then I have 2b. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And I get 5 equals 2b. Divide by 2. So b equals 5 over 2. So now that I have m and b, I can write my equation. Y equals m 1/2 x plus b, which is 5/2. Alright, so they give me my m, which is 0, and my point is -1, 4. So when I have a slope of 0, what does that mean? It's going to be a special case, right, where it's going to be a horizontal line. And what is my equation when I have a horizontal line? Y equals b. And my b is my y-intercept, or my y value. So what is going to be my y value in this case? 4. So y equals 4. Because of my m 0. Okay, my next one, my m isn't 0, so I don't get the luckiness of having that special case. So y equals mx plus b. I'm going to substitute my values in. So I'm going to substitute -8 for y, -1 for m, -2 for x, plus b. So we get -8 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2. And my b equals -10. So I need to write my equation. Y equals, what is my m? -1. Would I put a -1 in front of x? I just put -x. Okay. Would I put plus -10? No, I just put -10. So y equals -x minus 10. Okay, so here they don't give me the m or the b. So I can find my m. I can find my m by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is an x, a y, x, y. So y2, -1, minus y1, 4, over x2, 3, minus negative 2. So I'm going to get negative 5 over 5, which reduces to negative 1. So now that I have my m, I can take one of my points, y equals mx plus b, and substitute it in. You can use either point. It doesn't matter. If the point has a 0, I do highly suggest using that point. It makes it so much easier. But in this case, neither have a 0 in it, so I'm just going to use my first one. So I'm going to substitute a 4 in. I just found m as negative 1. My x is negative 2. I don't know b. So negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So b equals 2. But I'm not done yet. So now that I have my m and my b, I can write my equation. So y equals m, negative 1, so I'm just going to do negative x, plus b, which is 2. All right, again, they didn't give me my m, so I need to find my m. So xy, xy. So I'm going to have negative 8 minus 6 over 1 minus 1. So I'm going to get negative 14 over 0. So what is my slope? Not 0. Undefined. When the 0 is in the bottom, it means you're dividing by 0. You cannot divide by 0, so it's undefined. So when something's undefined, we have a special equation. What is my equation going to be? X equals a number. And what is my x value here? What are both of my x values? 1. So what is my equation going to be? X equals 1.
What would you do with both of them? So the ones for 1 and 2?
Then when it gives you 0 on the bottom, so it wouldn't be undefined. Okay? It's a good question though. The only way that's going to give you a 0 on the bottom is if both your x values are the same. And the only reason why it's going to give you a 0 on top would it be both your y values are the same. Okay, so let's do the next one. We're doing the same thing in the next one, so I need to find my m. So we have xy, xy, so I'm going to do 0 minus 5 over 1 minus negative 6. So I have negative 5 over 7, which is negative 5 sevenths. So they give me one of my special cases, so I need to find my b. So I have y equals mx plus b. I highly suggest using the one with the 0. It makes it so much easier. So 0 equals m, which is negative 5 sevenths, x, which is 1, plus b. So now 0 equals negative 5 sevenths plus b. And the reason why I highly suggest using a 0 is because you're not going to have to eliminate fractions then. Because I can just add 5 sevenths to the other side. The 0 plus 5 sevenths is 5 sevenths, right? So b equals 5 sevenths. So now I can write my equation. Y equals my m, which is negative 5 sevenths, x plus b, which is 5 sevenths. So my next one, again, they didn't give me that m or b, so I need to find my m and my b. So I'm going to take negative 5 minus 3 over 0 minus 7. So I'm going to get negative 8 over negative 7, which is the same as 8 over 7. Okay, so now, again, they gave me another 0, so I like it when they give me zeros. So we're gonna take y equals mx plus b. We need to find b, but I'm gonna substitute what I know. So -5 equals m, which is 8 over 7 times x, which I said is 0, plus b, because 0 times anything is 0. So b equals -5. So that's why it makes it nice when we have zeros, because it makes it easier to solve. So y is going to equal, we still have 8 over 7x minus 5. So that's solving if they give you points or values, you just write it as an equation. Now we're going to be looking at writing equations from graphs. The only difference here is how we find our m and our b, kind of, or just really our m. Because here we use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now we're going to be using rise over run. Okay? So we count the rise and the run to find the slope of your line. You need to find another point on the line. If they give you the b already, if they give you the y-intercept, then you can just stop there. You can just use your y-intercept, you can use your rise, run, write your equation. However, a lot of times our line will go in between 2 points, so you don't know what the b is. So that in that case, you need to find another point, substitute the information into the equation, solve for b like we were just doing, and then rewrite as the equation with m and b, just like we were just doing. So the only real difference here is how we find slope. So, for example here, slope is rise over run. So I'm going to take my 2 points here. I'm going to go up 2. So I rise 2, and I'm going to go to the right 4. So that's 2 over 4, which is the same as 1/2. Okay, they also already gave me my b, which is 2. So now I can just write my equation as y equals m 1/2 x plus 2, which is my b. Okay, our next one, I have a special case, a vertical line. So what is my equation when I have a vertical line? And x equals a number. So in this case, what does x equal? -2. So x equals -2. Okay. Okay, so we're going to find our slope. Oh no. So m equals rise over run. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so -5. So that would be 4 over -5, so -4 fifths. Okay. I don't know what my b is. Okay, because it's in between 2 points. So I have to find it. So I'm just going to select one of my points that they gave me. They gave me a point here which was -2, 3. So I'm just going to use that, or yeah, -2, 3. I'm just going to use that one. So I'm going to use the point. Doesn't matter, you can use any point. -2, 3 to find my b. So y is 3. My m is -4 over 5. And my x is -2 plus b. So I'm gonna multiply here and get 3 equals 8/5 plus b. Okay, so I have a fraction and I don't have a 0 over here, so I need to eliminate my fractions. So how do I eliminate fractions? By multiplying by my LCD, so I'm gonna multiply by 5. Everything by 5. Okay, so 5 times 3 is gonna be 15 equals 8 plus 5b. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So I'm going to get 7 equals 5b. Divide by 5. b equals 7/5. So what would so I have my m and my b. So what would be my equation? Y equals what? -4/5 x 7/5. Okay? So let's look at this next one. Again, they weren't so lucky by giving me my point there, but I have a point here and a point here. So I'm going to rise. I'm going to go up 2 and then over 3. So my slope here is going to be m equals 2/3. So we have to find our b. They did give us a point with a 0 though, which is kind of nice. So this point here would be 2, 0. So I'm going to have 0 equals 2/3 times 2 plus b. So 0 equals 4/3 plus b. Subtract 4/3 from both sides. So b equals -4/3. So my equation is going to be y equals 2/3 x minus 4/3. Alright, when we have a word problem, so we need to find the slope. You may need to calculate it using 2 points. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Also in the wording, if it has the word per something, it's usually the rate of change. Then we need to identify a point associated with the data, substitute the information, and solve for b, and rewrite the equation mx plus b. So really the only difference here is it's going to be a word problem. Okay, so the mosquito population is currently at 27.8 million per square mile. So that's going to be my M. A spraying program can decrease, or I'm sorry, that's wrong. Hold on. Sorry. A spraying program can decrease the number of mosquitoes by 1.8 million per hour. See how it is a per hour here? That one's going to be my M. For the first 12 hours. Write a linear equation to model this. So I start off currently with 2.7 million. So when we're graphing an equation, where do we start by graphing first? Our B, right? Our y-intercept. So this is going to be my B. So my M is 1.8 and we're trying to decrease. So it's a negative 1.8. My B is 27.8. So my equation then would be y equals negative 1.8x plus b. So between 1995 and 2005, the number of vacation trips in the U.S. increased by 26 million per year. In 2003, the total number of trips by U.S. residents was 740 million. Write a linear equation to model this data. Estimate the number of trips taken in 2000. So the first thing that we have to do is write a linear equation to represent this model. So I have to find the number of years. Our starting time would be 1995. So I have to find the number of years from 1995 to 2003, because that's the data point that they gave us. So how many years are from 2003 minus 1995? 8. So our data point will be 8, 740. Yes. And our M, we know that it increases by 26 million per year, so that's going to be my M. So when I'm writing my equation, it needs to be in the form of y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to substitute what I know. I have a y value, which is 740. I have an m value, which is 26. I have an x value, which is 8. And I am missing b. You're usually going to be missing b, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So 26 times 8.
208.
I'm sorry? 208. And so I'm going to subtract 208 from both sides. So what's 740 minus 208? 532 equals B. So now that I have M and B, I can write my equation. So my equation is going to be y equals 26x plus 532. So that's like the general equation for this model, okay? We can find out any value by using this equation, okay? So this would be part 1 of our question, where we got to write a linear model. Now we need to estimate the number of trips taken in 2000. So I'm going to, you have the answers. So I have to take 2000, I have to subtract 1995 because that is my starting point. To find my x value, which that would be how many years? 5. So now I can write my equation. I'm going to be looking for my y value. So I have y equals 26 times 5 plus 532. And 26 times 5 plus 532 is going to give me y equals 662, and it's going to be millions. Which makes sense that it's less than 2003 because it's been less time. Okay. The next slide. An airline offers a special fare of $201 to fly a distance of 386 miles. Do you have a question?
Where's the other ones?
Another special fare of 500 miles is $216.73. Write a linear model for the fare. Okay, do I have anything that says per mile or per dollar? No, so I don't have a M, I don't have a slope, a rate of change. So I have to find my M, my rate of change. So do the amount of money I spend change the amount of miles, or does the amount of miles that I fly change the amount of money that I spend? Yes.
The miles changes the money. Right?
Yes. So my miles are going to be my X value, okay? Because the amount of money varies directly with my amount of miles that I am flying. So we have the 2 points of 386, which would be, the amount of money would be $201. And then we also have 500 and 216.73, okay? So we're going to use our equation m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find our slope. So I'm going to take 216.73 minus 201 over 500 minus 386. So I'm going to get 15.73 on top over 114. And when I divide that, it's going to give me 0.14. Okay? So now that I found M, I need to find B. So my equation is y equals mx plus b. You can choose either point to use. I suggest using the first one because there's no decimals. So I'm going to take 201 and substitute that in for y equals m, which is 0.14, times x, which is 386, plus b. I don't know b. So I'm going to have 201 equals 0.14 times 386 is how much?
386.14.
I'm multiplying.
54.04.
Yeah. Then I'm going to subtract 54.04 from both sides. And what does my b equal? $146.96. So now that I have my b and my m, I can write my equation. Can somebody help me write that? It's going to be y equals 0.14
Plus
x
Oh.
plus
146.96.
146.96. From here, I could find out if I flew 700 miles, how much would it cost? I could also have a cost of like $856.36 and find out how many miles I'm flying then. So you can find out like anything from this equation now, okay?